Now, ever since the debut of the 50th anniversary of SNL took place and how it truly backfired on Tom Hanks to the point that he had to disable comments on his Instagram account, as far as I know, the last time that I checked, it was still disabled as of today, so if you guys would like to go ahead and update on us on all of that, that would be very much welcome. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with what's been going on over at SNL/NBC. We know that there's a lot of things going on between the NBC executives, the SNL creator and executive producer, Lorne Michaels, and what's going on between him and Tom Hanks right now, and the consequences, alright? The consequences that Tom Hanks is now facing after that record-breaking backlash took place. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, whether you liked that comedy bit by Tom Hanks, or you truly were offended by it, that is all welcome below in the comments, by the way. I have expressed my feelings about this. I thought it really came from a very bad place. It was orchestrated terribly, and it truly was nothing more than an agenda disguised as comedy. That's basically all it was by SNL and NBC. But let's get into the overall juicy details about what's going on with Tom Hanks right now, between himself and the ramifications based on what happened just some time ago. Now, interestingly enough, we know that Tom Hanks truly is another actor out there that gets way too political when it comes to his acting career. This is no different than what happened with Robert De Niro, with Alec Baldwin, Julia Roberts. I mean, the list goes on and on. We could talk about this all day about all of these different actors and actresses. However, this is where it really begins to get very serious and really begins to show you exactly how bad the backlash truly was for NBC. Now, with Tom Hanks still receiving endless backlash after his portrayal as a Trump supporter on SNL's 50th anniversary backfired, one massive development going on right now involves more to do with recent consequences that Tom Hanks just faced over at NBC in a very significant way and new bombshell details. It turns out that the showrunners over at NBC recently took action against Tom Hanks after the record-breaking backlash that deeply impacted SNL's image and how they are now rapidly bleeding fans as a comedic platform and program. It turns out that Tom Hanks was slated to do multiple, not just one, parody of a Trump supporter on SNL, and was going to return doing different comedy bits of doing something very similar to what happened during the 50th anniversary, except in different settings. Now, Hanks, get this, signed on to play different types of Trump supporters, quote unquote, that were going to be played out in a way that would have created even more backlash. The studio executives at NBC decided to axe and cancel Tom Hanks from those comedy bits in isolation. Now, shockingly, Hanks agreed to do 10 whole appearances on SNL after the 50th that were going to be considered 10 different types of Trump supporters in different settings in the form of parody. However, it turns out that this was nothing more than an agenda that was going to be disguised as comedy, and the first round backfired during the 50th anniversary. Already creator and executive producer Lorne Michaels demanded the showrunners to toss Tom Hanks and cancel him into the abyss from ever doing more Trump supporter parodies, and also canceled other parodies not associated with a Trump supporter that he was supposed to do that were going to be connected to politics yet again. Hanks was going to also receive a very high payout for the 10 comedy sketches of different Trump supporters. The metrics were described to be anywhere from $5 to $10 million to do those comedy bits on SNL across the entirety of 2025. Now, Lorne Michaels is already in panic mode after a backlash level that they have never seen before in SNL occurred. Hanks and his agent reportedly are challenging SNL and NBC's decision by canceling him from doing those additional Trump parodies. Now, guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. It was one mistake to really debut that SNL 50th anniversary, portrayal of a Trump supporter through Tom Hanks, doing that portrayal, playing that actual character, and how that really backfired on them. It's another thing, the fact that they actually had a green light to do 10 more of these in different ways, right? So different types of Trump supporters is what they were going for. I guess they were going to dress them up differently, act differently, based on different regions of the country, and how that was going to be a big deal for SNL, apparently in their eyes. They believed it was going to be successful, and look where they are now. They are canceling Tom Hanks. They are getting rid of those comedy bits to the point that Tom Hanks is even wildly offended right now, based on what Lorne Michaels did and how he reacted toward Tom Hanks in that Backlash, and how the NBC studio heads, the executives over there, also got in on all of this. So we'll have a lot more to talk about than that in just a second. Now again, we know that to this day, Tom Hanks' Instagram account, the comments specifically I should say, are still disabled. Alright, that might go on in the coming hours or the coming days, or heck, maybe even within minutes for all we know. But as far as we all know, Tom Hanks is very well and fully aware about the level of the backlash, and it really is that significant. It's not coming from a minority that's just loud and opinionated. It is a majority of the SNL core customer base that really got very offended over how this was orchestrated, how this actually played out on live television, and how the character was portrayed by Tom Hanks. Now, the NBC board of directors, get this, and the executives also got involved on the argument with Lorne Michaels, and they all came to an agreement that it would be best to boot Tom Hanks from ever getting involved in something like that ever again. Hanks is reportedly wildly offended, like I said before, over the recent development by Lorne and the NBC studio heads, and is appalled about the future of SNL and comedy in general. Hanks is already rearranging all of his appearances on late-night shows, podcasts, radio shows, and even interviews for magazines that are now either getting canceled as well, or are getting delayed by months to let the backlash water down over time. Now guys, I wonder why he's canceling all those appearances or rearranging those appearances, either delaying them or canceling them outright. Is he on the list? Who knows? Is it because of the SNL backlash? Most likely. That's probably the most likely scenario, let's be real. But the second could very well be a great possibility there. Now, hence why his comments are still disabled on Instagram to this day, since the 50th aired on live television, is another big factor. Now, NBC and creator Lorne Michaels making this call is similar to what MSNBC recently did to Joy Reid after canceling her show as the media is beginning to head into a financial crisis. So look, we know that the media is now beginning to realize that what they have been doing since 2015, 16, 17, those 3 big years that started all of this nonsense, that is not a good business model for them, and it truly is backfiring at a record-breaking level right now in 2025. And they tried to do it again. They really tried to test their audience to see what they could get away with in 2025, and it's just flat out not working. And it goes to show you that they have now hit an official brick wall that they really can't get through, right? Not even anything can get through that brick wall at this point. They are locked in a corner and no place to go. And that's why you have NBC, you have MSNBC making all these different calls with Tom Hanks, Joy Reid, and the list goes on and on. Even ABC is beginning to rearrange their overall business model. Will it be enough? Who knows? Is it going to be a temporary solution in their eyes? Most likely they're going to revert back to all their nonsense in a couple of months from now. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, to top things off here, we already know that Tom Hanks is truly well aware about the backlash and is getting very much offended over what Lorne Michaels recently did. I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.